What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the PR Lunch Hour with me and your girl, Tam. Super excited to be here today. What's going on, girl?
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Story of our lives.
But I'm good. I'm okay. I'm just tired.
All right. Well, before we get to wins, we're thrilled to introduce you all to David Matheny. He is a seasoned PR strategist, creative thinker, communications pro. Yes, he is. I recently met him. Tam knows him, but the energy is like off the Richter scales. He has spent years turning complex ideas into clear, compelling narratives, and with a background spanning agency life, corporate comms, brand storytelling. Dave is going to come in here today with, I think, some fresh perspective on what it takes to break through the noise. So grab your lunch if you are on the East Coast, or your coffee if you are on the West Coast, and help us welcome our guy, David. Hey.
Hello, friend. How we doing?
Much better that you're here because you get to add a little spice to the life of these two girls that's been doing this for a while. So,
hey, I do what I can.
I heard. So we start our show off with wins. And in case you haven't watched or heard, we like living vicariously through one another. And we all know that in this world of communications and PR, it can get a little tough. So we like to hear how you are winning in life, how you are balancing, what new clients you got, what placements you have, or just how life is lifing in a good way for you.
Yeah. Honestly, the most recent win I was working on a project that started actually with Tam about 3 years ago with Maverick Entertainment Group. They have the biggest library of Black content in the media universe. And I was working with them on a smaller project that was for a documentary of a woman that was part of the Beatles crew. And she worked with the Rolling Stones and all kinds of people. And the documentary finally came out this past weekend. It had its world premiere after 3 years of sitting on it. And we had a sold out opening weekend, which was great. And I helped facilitate that. So that's my most recent win that I'm very proud of and excited about.
Very good. And congratulations. Miss Amanda said, hey, so many smart people.
Hello.
Girl, Amanda, you need to come visit us. Right?
Yeah, she really does, actually. I'm about to
Tam, how are you winning these days, Miss Tam? Other
I'm
than
here. I know. I'm here. I'm gonna do some funny things. So, like, first and foremost, we had where I work at Stacker, we did our Q1 Expo, and I must shout out my teammates who were they said some of the slides could have just been put my name on it, which always makes me feel great. My teammates say that, but also someone was just hey, Tamara's getting a lot of praise, and I was I don't plan on slowing down, which is great when I'm in that energy. So I thought that was really cool. I actually got to connect with Amanda this week, so she's watching. We haven't talked in a while, but there was that. But then also I joined Sports Mom. This is my personal life. I joined the Sports Mom Club. Y'all are crazy.
You're one of them now.
Yeah, I am one of them. But I will say what makes me so excited about that is it was definitely doing something that my oldest daughter is talented at. It wasn't a let's do it because we want to and everyone else is saying it. It was purely we've seen her just run everywhere, literally. Gets out the car for school, etc. And it was just it's cool to see her just have this confidence in her talent and us just supporting that talent. So that was a real good win, and it only clicked yesterday.
That's good. Awesome. Yeah. That's a big deal, Mom. And I don't think either you or your husband are trying to live vicariously through your child, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are people that do.
that thing. I mean, that's true. Like, I'm more of an art. I did track, but I was like, it was like a blip, y'all. It wasn't that thing. But no, I just, when you get to like, and David knows this about me, like, I love just helping people. Like,
She's a helper.
Just shine in their gifts. But it's real. I don't know. It brings me so much joy in seeing her thrive in her cute little 6-year-old way. It was just amazing.
And what sport is she playing now? She's doing track, right?
She's doing track. Yeah, she's doing track and field. Yeah. Like she just ran. They were doing practices. They did like 300, 200, 100. This girl's hilarious. She was jogging and waving. We're like, girl. But she was like having fun and she was confident in it. So like that brings me joy. Like anyone that knows me, like I could probably like not eat and just sit there, which is not good. Not advocating that, but it just brings me so much joy. To be honest.
That's so good.
Well, I'll share my quick win. I think for the week, it was incredible to be at the Rise Williams documentary premiere. I have the opportunity of, I guess, being a part of the story. My son played basketball with Rise Williams, and for those of you that don't know him, he was a high school absolute basketball all-star, and he passed away a day before his graduation. He was on his way to LMU on a full scholarship, and his life was taken by a very rare cancer.
Oh my goodness.
And the film documented the whole thing. But this is what I want y'all to understand. The director of the film was a student that went to high school with Rise. So he is someone that felt like there was a story that needed to be told. Mm-hmm. He had spent a lot of time. I had been doing some PR and marketing for the Rise Williams Foundation and working with his family, which is incredible, by the way, that they could even share this story with so much emotion that they carry with them about the whole situation. But the family worked with the director and the school and got all the athletes testimony, and the documentary was just incredible. It really showed the process of finding out that he was diagnosed all the way until not just when he passed, but what has happened thus far. So all that being said, being able to be at the premiere with my daughter was incredible. Be there to support the family was incredible. And then still talking to the director to see what we can do to move this project even further. But it was really an idea of someone that was touched by a story to do all of the work. And it's been some years now to get that story on the big screen. So it was everything. And since then, the high school, Redondo Union High School, has also lost another alumni, Kyle Carter, and his mom was there. And at the end of the film, it was dedicated to him. So it's a full circle moment. It is definitely shows the humanity behind athletes, right? Because most people see is the glitz of whatever that sport is the highlights and see them in the paper, but there was so much storytelling that needed to be done. And that's why one of the reasons why I started the sports media part of my company is because people don't recognize how impactful these stories can be. Even Rise's sister was talking about, and it was his younger sister, what her emotions were during that time. And they were very close. They were very close. But the most impactful part to me listening to her is hearing how she not just dealt with losing her brother, but that moment when the moments when he would tell her that she was his best friend.
Oh,
and there's so many people that pass away and you guys haven't had certain conversations. I just felt like nothing was left unsaid. So it was a lesson. It was a blessing. It was definitely for me an emphasis on our profession because we are storytellers. So it gives so much power to the work that we do because it validates how incredible storytelling is when it's done right and when it's ignited by passion, right? And I don't know. So that was a full circle moment. Clearly, it's still very impactful, not just for the people that it touched, but anyone that was lucky enough to be there that night. So that's my win.
That's fabulous. I love that story. That's great.
Beautiful.
But I did want to circle back because I'm petty. And since Tam was talking about her daughter running track, can we get into the track story that has taken the world by storm?
Yeah.
And the Carmelo Anthony situation and how it's been handled in the media. I think this is the perfect arena to have this conversation because a couple things that I want us to touch on is when a story initially comes out, do not react.
Mm.
You don't know all the details. Do not. Do not do that. Do not get out there and judge, especially when young people are a part of that story. You are either maligning or distorting truth that could highly impact the livelihood of another young person, at least until the details come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once the details come out, I mean, if people want to pick their sides, then they can do that. But seem to be a lot of Klan meetings popping up since that has happened, not just in Texas where it happened, but all over the place. We actually have one happening here in Torrance, California. So, can we get into that, please?
Yeah, I'm gonna let David go.
Okay. I'm not familiar with this story, believe it or not. But as far as like Klan meetings go, there was a protest down here in Ohio, Cincinnati. There was a group of Nazis on a bridge flying flags and doing whatever they do. It was probably about a month and a half ago, I'd say. But the community, they came out in force and like more or less kicked them out, which was nice to see. The police obviously did nothing, but I digress. That's just my context to what I heard here.
That's fair. Tony, you want to explain what the story is? So to give him some context. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there was, hold on. I'm actually going to see if I can pull this up because I think it's important that you actually get it. All right. One second.
All the news going on these days is
it's a lot, but usually when it comes to sports and youth, I'm highly involved because I think it's important that we tune in. So there was a track meet, and a kid named Carmelo Anthony was sitting under the tent. It started raining, and he was sitting under the tent of another school. And there was a set of twins that had been known to be bullies. Okay, this is also what I heard. Had told him he needs to move. He needs to move. And he was like, don't put your hands on me. They were trying to make him move from under the tent. He said, don't put your hands on me. They did. He had a knife in his bag. He turned around and he stabbed him. And he died. And then when he got, the police caught up to him, he said, yes, I did it. I told him not to put his hands on me. And there's actually nobody that disputes the fact that they put their hands on him. There's no one. Texas is one of those self-defense places where you can protect yourself by any means necessary if you feel threatened. And he did say that he felt threatened. So more people are obviously starting to come out about the story and confirm that these boys, it wasn't just one, that it was the twins. In Texas, they are joining together with all of their European American counterparts to say that they think he should be locked up and not get out on bail until the trial. And that's where we are right now. That is where we are with this case. At first, the first story that comes out is this black kid stabbed this white kid at a track meet. And then it was, oh, well, he did say, don't put your hands on him, but why did he have a knife? And why did this happen? So all the blame continues to be on him.
Of course.
It's so bad that even when they did a GoFundMe
Mhm.
for him for his defense, the GoFundMe took the money and wouldn't give it to him. So the
Oh.
people got
Mm,
accounts shut down. So
mm.
another fundraising organization actually helped, raise money to get him out and things of that nature. But it's been a pretty. I brought it up because the way we process information and get news and just react has been crazy.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Another story. There's been several stories about um, influencers, reporters that just report on things about young people before they have all the details, and
Mm.
how it has, these are minors,
Yeah.
has ruined their future. Even when they find out later that it's wrong,
Mm.
the damage has already been done. And
Mhm.
sometimes you can't undo reputation disasters.
No.
As
Even if
much
you hire one of us, we can't save you.
I mean, it's true, but
It is.
yeah. Yikes. That's
That's
I
horrible.
have a thought when it comes to your point about how like in the current landscape we're covering minors, especially in the sports aspect. I know that in the media landscape, we really started shifting from just traditional media platforms, meaning like we know like, you know, NBC and CB, like we know those traditional media platforms that we usually try to get on, to the age of the independent journalist, like on the rise,
Mm-hmm,
or
Mhm.
news influencer is probably another term. I'm
mm-hmm,
sure there's many others, but it's definitely on the rise as of the last year or so, or at getting to its peak. So I wonder if what you're saying about the reputational damage. I mean, we've seen this happen in traditional media, but like as David was alluding to, like we know usually how to like navigate that from a PR perspective, because there's like almost like this code of ethics, or like this unwritten code that we all have with each other.
Mhm.
But what you're speaking to is that I don't know if that exists or has been formulated yet for the new media landscape. Like we're in, I hate to keep uncertain, uncharted territory for most things, but like let's stay on this topic. And I think that's what you're calling out is like, it's very easy to just pick up your phone and say like I'm recording what's dropping in real time. I mean, that kind of happened with the Cassie situation, but like with New York as an
Mhm.
example, like New York Times, they'd already done their research and that triggered. So it wasn't as damaging per se, if that
right.
makes sense. Like there was conversation, but I'm wondering if the ease, the lower barrier to entry, like all those kinds of things that usually are
Lower
positive,
barrier to entry.
you
Mhm.
know what I mean, is becoming harder. And they're basically, again, I'm just what I'm picking up, because I only knew the beginning part of this story. I didn't know that like what happened to GoFundMe and stuff. Um, it's basically almost like putting minors in a adult world with like there are no barriers. There are
Mhm.
no guardrails. You know how
Yeah.
like you have to have certain guardrails for child actors, etc. This does not exist.
Yeah.
From what I'm gathering here.
Not only that, but there was a time where even if someone was sick or passed away or dying, it was confirmed before you just went out and announced it.
Mhm.
Like now it's like, oh my bad, he ain't even really dead yet. He just on life
Right.
support, but like he gonna be dead. So I'm just gonna leave this up here. Like what?
Mhm.
What are we doing?
Mm.
Like, how many times did Betty White die before she actually died? Like,
Oh my god.
seriously.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a new world we have to navigate, but it's a new
It
world
truly
that like we're also like building at the same time. But when it comes to minors, I mean, in most cases, there's protections in ads and marketing and like again
is.
acting.
Mhm.
Again, if you're doing traditional media, there's usually protections. If someone's coming from that world as a journalist, it's usually that. But like if there are those who are, again, if we're calling them like, from my phrase, news influencers, or like those who may not have traditionally come from a journalist background,
Well, I
Right.
guess Kanye doesn't think that Beyonce and Jay-Z's kids have any protections because
Well, okay, Kanye. No,
Listen, Kanye,
I'm
a
not.
whole nother bag.
Yeah, we're not putting him. He cannot. Can we just put him in his own corner, please? We're
Yeah.
not putting Eddie Wilson back.
he's
That
a whole other category. Like, what do we even call that?
the corner. The corner.
The corner. That's what we're
I
gonna
know.
call it.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
even
stay
know
over
that.
there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Then who else belongs in the corner?
I don't know, but he needs to just be in a league of his own.
Come on, David.
Really,
I know how petty you can be. Who else belongs in the
oh,
corner?
me? Yeah, I know y'all.
No,
Yeah,
David.
I can be now my brain.
Come on, David. Who else belongs in the corner?
I mean, at this point, Diddy probably.
Oh yes, facts.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like slipped my mind there. You absolutely right.
Okay, who else? Who else? Diddy, who else?
Who?
Who else belongs in the corner? Come on, Tam.
I'm so bad with
Oh,
names.
I contributed the name.
Who's that
Cute.
director or producer? Harvey Weinstein?
Yep, I'd say that.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
They got a weird little corner over there. You got nobody, Tam? Nobody at all?
Oh, I think no, I'm just not saying it. Mm-mm.
Can we put Roseanne Barr in the corner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta go. Who else?
Mm-hmm.
Who else is going in the corner? Tam's over there trying to be conservative. Listen, ma'am, you brought the
No, not conservative.
No.
I'm trying to retain my sanity today.
You gotta send her off the deep end with that description.
Yes, I can't. I'm
trying to set her off.
I'm tired. I'm on the edge. I'm on the slippery slope, the edge.
Tam knows I'm trying to set her off.
No, I know you try to do that, but no, not today. I'm not taking. I'm in peace in my life.
No bait. Okay.
No bait today.
We gotta. Oh, Tom Cruise.
Woo!
Does he belong in there? Come on, Tom. Yep, I think we can put Tom over there.
Yeah,
he has skated by for a while though. To be honest.
Yeah, he's the one that does the. What are those movies called?
I know what you mean.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why he gets the pass.
And Top Gun. It's not Top Gun though. Top Gun was good.
It was a good movie.
But he's still a wacko. Mel Gibson.
You know, we're really stretching back here.
Yeah, I was like, you cool. Like, I'm talking about.
He was coming out with new movies. I'm like, come on, get off my screen. No,
I was not aware. That's not even. Mm-mm.
I'm actually starting to feel like that about all reality, like hood ready, janky shows. They can just go to the corner too.
Oh, you just want to put the whole show in the corner.
Mickey Rourke.
He can go.
He's been problematic as of the last week.
Okay, here's a question.
I was tapped out.
Bill Maher.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Come now. I'll let you sit on that one.
Yeah,
he isn't in the corner, but he's in the room.
Okay.
Okay, fair.
He's in the room.
House analogy. I can follow David. Yeah. I can follow. Yep. Okay, fair. Touche. Like we can just be like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we gotta put some people they can't even like compare. Yeah, just gotta put them in the corner. But the room, we can roll.
Okay. How about these new astronauts? Where are they at?
You know what, honestly, I really haven't talked about this week. I only saw, I think it was a pop culture social media account that shared, I think it was like Katy Perry being there, and then I saw like the Gayle King conversation, but like I honestly, maybe it's just where I'm at. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that whole situation was very like,
give me your take on that.
Distraction.
Yeah, give me your take on that, because I don't know how it was sold to them, but how it was framed to them, but it feels like they came back from a really long luxury limousine ride and thought that people were going to be waiting for them, cheering them on, and it was great for everyone. So obviously their perception of what they were doing is completely disconnected from the public. How does that even happen? Because it really feels like they are disillusioned about the reception that they're receiving or lack thereof of this ride that they took, and they get totally offended by the ride. But
Yeah.
like people have said, dude, you're not an astronaut. You ain't performed no experiments.
Mhm.
You took a ride for 11 minutes and came home and kissed the ground. It was actually kind of tone deaf and weird. David, give me
Very,
your best thoughts on this.
very tone deaf. I mean, I think I speak for everyone when I say that, like, the majority of the public is struggling on a level that we have not struggled on in a long time. And the least important thing to us right now is a bunch of upper class people going to space and spending billions of dollars for an 11-minute ride. Like, use that money for something else more important to help people. Like, anything, literally anything. Um, it's just I don't know how they went up there and thought, oh, let me sing a little song, do my little ditty, do my little not that word. Sorry. That people were just going to be excited. Like, this isn't something new. We've been to space. People have been to space. They're going to keep going to space. We're past that.
I guess
Or
the
we're,
question is, how does the perception and the actuality of an event, whether
Mhm.
it's this space thing or something else, get so disconnected?
Yeah.
These are times when we're supposed to be connecting our stories, our experiences to the audience,
Yeah.
particularly if you're looking for like praise, accolades, a following, consumers, any of those things. Your job is really to get people to want to participate or at
Mhm.
least celebrate or see significance in what you're doing. Now, for some reason, their expectation was a lot different than the reception, and they're not the first that have participated in something that the perception of the actual act was not the
Definitely.
intention of those people. So what is it about the media that even allows for it to get distorted like that?
Mm, mm. Good question. I mean, it definitely is possibly a disconnection for the journalist, depending on the journalist. Not all of them, obviously, but I think too, it's just they're trying to make news out of things that people used to care about, used to get excited about, and it's not top of mind for anyone anymore. Like, we're all worried about how we're going to get groceries, how we're going to get, you know, through this week. Versus, okay, great, they went to space. I mean, it was just as much of a flop as Katy Perry's recent album. Like, she thought it was gonna be like a big comeback. Ooh, ooh, I'm back. Like, the gays are gonna love me. And no, mama. Like,
Didn't know
no.
she had another album.
Exactly. And I don't know if maybe this whole thing was to plug that, hopefully to get people to go listen, but like, we didn't listen when you released it the first time. This is definitely not gonna help your cause.
So here's a question I have for you, because you guys are in Ohio and there's a story that is all over every freaking day in the media out here in California about the Menendez brothers.
Mm,
So my husband, his thoughts are, that's just something that's news here. It's not news anywhere else. So I want to know from you all, is that making news where you are at all?
not locally that I've seen,
Okay.
honestly.
No, like, no. I think the biggest, and like local media and like what matters in one, market versus the other, like we know this, but like, yeah, no, that story, I think the biggest it was when the documentary came out and when there were like celebrities and, you know, famous spokespeople like talking about it when like the Kim K when she got involved. Like that was when it was big here.
Mhm.
Beyond that, no.
Okay, I was just wondering because
Yeah, we don't even see it, but
it's on the news every day here.
oh, that's crazy.
It's
I
on
mean,
the news.
it's in the LA courts, right? Is where they're
Back.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick overview.
Mhm.
They kill their parents.
right.
They are now saying, which was on the documentary, they were assaulted.
Mhm.
So their family has come out and said, please resentence them to a number that would let them out now.
Right.
Our DA, little background on our DA, we have a new DA. The DA before this, Gascon, people wanted him out because he was, listen, as liberal as you want to be, he was doing too much. Like it was wild out here. So California said, we need, or LA County was like, we need a new DA because this guy's too lenient. Like people are running around here robbing us. We got CVS locking up toothbrushes. Like he ain't doing nothing about it. We need a new DA. So we got a new DA, which is a lot more law and order. Okay. But that's supposed to make people happy, especially people that are right leaning. They wanted that. Well, the Menendez brothers case is now back in front of the LA County DA, and he reviewed their case and was like, listen, whether they were assaulted or not, which is obviously a new claim after,
Right.
they still aren't capitulating to the fact that they did this. They're not taking any responsibility for themselves. They have an excuse for everything, on top of the fact that they were 18 and 21 when it happened. So saying that your grown ass was scared and that's why you did what you did is a fallacy. And until you can at least acknowledge your part and take responsibility for your part, I am not supporting resentencing. So everyone came out and was like, oh, he's just being mean. Well, you voted for mean. Like we're in this moment, whether it's statewide, countywide, nationally, you voted for mean. So now you're mad that mean is doing his job. I'm actually fine with it because they have not ever taken responsibility for what they did. And, if it was black trauma, it would have been like, well, your daddy should have been there or something stupid. But you got these boys who come from very well-off family that have now had movies and everything, and they got girls writing letters, want to be their wife, and all this showing up, dressed, they twins out, and they really want the DA to be like, just give them a new sentence so they can come home. And he's like, yeah, no, actually, because they still need to take responsibility. And once they do, then we can move forward. So the family gets on the news, because I told you this has been in the news like every day.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's just biased. And the aunt like passes out. She comes out from New York. She passes out. She goes to the hospital. And they get on the next day talking about it's the DA's fault that the auntie passing out because he won't let the boys out. If you go somewhere, but this is my problem. Why in the entire hell is this on my news? This shit is not news. Pardon my French.
Some people in the comments are saying it was new. It's news sometimes in Virginia, and then Marion said it was on NPR yesterday.
There's so many cases that come before our DA. This is Los Angeles County. This is the largest county in the nation. We got real problems here. Not a bunch of spoiled rich kids that feel like they need more attention and mad. Here we go again. Mad because they're not getting their way. So now everything is the DA's fault. Y'all voted for the DA. I'm actually applauding him. Yes, take responsibility. Then you can get out. He basically said that. Take responsibility. Again, I'm just irritated. Like, why is this news? Do you know how many people we have here? And I think even with not just that story, but you got the astronaut story and all these other things that just are not news. And then you have people like us that are pitching real news.
Yeah.
No, we have no. I was going to put your story on, but
we got to do the astronauts.
But like what?
Yeah. No, that just sounds like they're just like still doing the same thing they originally did. Like, I didn't get my way, mom and dad. Do my then I.
With that one, I'm wondering. So I know David mentioned this like point earlier. He said distraction, but I'm wondering if this is where, you know how we always talking about you have to learn how to be balanced and like also read the room and like understand what story needs to be said at what time, and that's part of working with us. I'm wondering if this is these two stories in particular, even though we could talk about the underlying things like voting that person in, the whole thing, is a complete misunderstanding of the difference between like there's heavy news and people are also looking for feel good news, and like they just completely missed it. Like they weren't even in the middle or on either side. They were just like back to the reference in the corner somewhere, because there is this thing right now where people do want feel good news and they want hope and they want some semblance of like the sky is not falling because everything else is so heavy. Back to what David said, it's like economy is on everyone's mind. I mean, all of us log in on LinkedIn, at least here, we see things, you know, the job market, the price of eggs has been brought up, you know, like rates, like there's all these real life things happening, you know, immigration, which, you know, is close to my heart. So like all these things are happening. And some people are just everyone who still cares about all those things are still like, hey, oh, thank you, Marion, on CBS. We're just like, we want to just have some semblance of our brain that just like doesn't have to always be in heavy world, because we can't live like that. Like we want to be aware, but not heavy. And it really seems like for the astronaut thing, I am curious like what they were sold, honestly. I'm curious what they were sold. Like I wonder, it reminded me of like during COVID when a few of them like celebrities started singing, and like I really feel like they had good intentions, to be honest, but their backlash was kind of similar to this. Like seriously, it's kind of similar to this. It's like just really, and we can all make mistakes. It's totally fine. Like I'm not dragging them for making a mistake, but I just feel like they missed that like balance of like the news is heavy and we want to do something good, but like it didn't go into that other realm of like feel good and hopeful. It just went into like blah and like this is unnecessary. Because I saw it because I saw it on a thread.
But then when you communicate that, when you communicate that, instead of Gayle King getting on saying, well, have you been to the space?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tuned that out.
How about something like, it was really our intention to lighten the moment.
Yeah.
I was hoping that this is something that women that look like me can feel inspirational about. Like at no point has there been communication with the audience that you're trying to connect with. One, I think the problem is they think we owe it to them to applaud whatever it is that they do. So there's a level of privilege that goes along with celebrity that we continue to talk about all the time, which is y'all ain't privileged. Don't forget the way you got there is the same way we can take you down. We have supported you over the years. But when you stop doing the things that allowed for us to support you, which was tell the story of why you're doing this, tell the story of what your intention is, what is it that you want us to get out of this, and also be receptive if the feedback isn't what you want. You can't force that down someone's throat. I want you to like me for doing this. Well, they don't ask you to do that.
Do you think Gayle King was jealous of all the attention Hoda was getting because she retired, and Gayle was like, I'm going to space.
Sounds like your petty bone is itching.
My petty bone stays itching.
I was just like, petty though, or is it just that we're good at connecting the dots? Like, you know, that's just my reframe of it personally. But and I also know David. I don't think that was his petty.
That was petty mild.
Yeah, that was petty. That was like on the low. But I just feel like, I mean, I didn't connect that dot, to be honest. But like, is it because Hoda ended up being on the covers of magazines? Like, I mean, you know how someone goes from like reporting the news to being the news? It's like a whole arc, because it's like we're championing them, we know them, we connect with them. Like, you know, the business side, they're going to sell magazines, people are going to care. So like, yeah, Hoda went from like being what she was doing, and then all of a sudden, I mean, I walked through a store and I saw her on a cover, and I just did a double take. Now, granted, I just constantly walk past magazines personally, but I was like, wait a second, that's new.
Double take.
I mean, that could be that. That could be that.
Then answer this. Answer this.
Oh dear. No. Yeah.
Do you think that is the difference between a Hoda and a Gale? Hoda has been a career journalist, a
Mm,
career journalist. I think everyone feels like if they have a mic in front of their face, it then all of a sudden makes them a journalist. Is
Mm.
Gail King a journalist? This one thing when you're getting accolades for doing what you do very well. It's another thing when you are an attention whore.
Mm.
she's been riding Oprah's coattails for how long now? They lived together for some time. Like, she's
Mm.
not where she's at
But
because,
he'll never be a Hoda because
right?
he's not a journalist.
No, she doesn't have. I don't know all of Gail King's background, but like from what I know, like she kind of just came up with Oprah. Like,
And she did the R. Kelly thing.
yes,
Oh, well,
yeah.
fair. Yeesh.
Um,
Yeah.
Forgot about
I,
that one.
yeah. Can't handle two of them in one day. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Do
Absolutely
your R.
not.
Kelly, pick one.
Yeah, just, I can't do two. But
Another one for the corner.
yeah, just yeah. That's true. I just again, it's back to that idea of like, are people or the audience you're trying to reach looking for things to feel hopeful about?
Mhm.
Absolutely. But where they lost us is that, as you said, they didn't even thread the needle on how is this hopeful. And again, if you're going to distract, you have to have a connection in some way. I mean, you said this, Tanya, like you have to have some sort of connection to the audience. And it's not, I I couldn't, like I said, I don't know what that connection was or how it was connected in any way. I think it's even like think about how everyone reacted to Meg Chella.
Mm,
See the difference?
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I was on the Gaga Cella train personally, but
I'm a
Yeah, I
Meg.
mean, but
but
see how
yes, I,
Coachella
I I get
didn't
what
like
you mean. Yeah.
succumb to this like, ugh, like why are they still throwing the concert? No one said that.
Yeah.
No one. I didn't hear about Gaga, Glorilla. I forget who else was. I didn't hear about. Like everyone was just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we love her. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it was. It yes, it's something that's not a necessity. It's not having to do with the economy. We know we're spending
Right.
money. There's celebrities there, da da da. But not one person did I see in any conversation start saying, "Well, what was that? That was a
Mhm.
waste of time. How dare they? Why did she even bring up Queen Latifah?" Nope. Did anyone see their reaction? I am willing to be proven wrong, but I did not see it. Happened at the same time, by the way. So
Or
to me,
Missy Chella.
what do you say?
Missy Elliott.
Yeah,
Miss
Misty
Cella,
Challenge. Like
yeah.
no
Mhm.
one. I was living for them. Sierra. Like no one went and started attacking any one of those celebrities at all.
Mm,
Versus this was happening and everyone's just like, okay. But again, if you're put in the same category as like something that you can spend money on and like you are
yeah.
have to be a certain like income tax bracket to be able to spend money on.
Right. Because those tickets were not cheap.
Correct. But I'm saying like same thing, just
Yeah.
completely different reactions.
That's fair. Yeah. Mhm.
Hey, David, let me ask you, what difficulties are you having right now in the industry? What are you struggling with?
Ooh. Getting people to understand why it's important to invest in their communications.
Hmm.
I feel like
Mm,
people are starting to pull back, do less and less. They're afraid to say things. They're afraid to be controversial or, have a stance when in my opinion, I feel like we're in a time where you kind of have to be like to get that attention, to get that traction that you need, you kind of, for lack of a better word, like have to pick a side and, stand in it. No matter what comes your way, you stand in it. It's the people who come out, say what they have to say, take their stance, and then, oh wait, no, 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 no. The Targets and the um Walmarts and all that of the world. Uh that's one of the biggest things that I'm noticing over the last probably 3 months, honestly. Um,
mm,
Understandably, I mean, the media climate we're in is very, very crazy to watch. And I understand too why journalists maybe not always want to be on the heavy news because there is so much of it. Like,
yeah, yeah.
let's pull this bullshit astronaut story. and talk about that because it's not the doom, you know?
I do have a follow-up question to that. You brought it up now. It's like, because I know like I know you have like an event coming out, which we'll talk about here in a second, but let's just use the umbrella term DEI as an example. When it comes to like, we've talked about this in the past many times about how like companies need to not just only talk about things during the month. So like, I know we're in April, but like Pride Month is coming up. Yeah. And with the fear that people are having right now, like, what do you recommend? Even though they're like, I think everyone's just scared. Like, economy's looking crazy. You're seeing markets do this, and everyone's scared. But like, what would you recommend if someone could like just get a minute of your time on like how to stand behind what they truly believe in and value, like LGBTQ plus, or again, the umbrella term DEI, because that covers so many things.
Right,
but
right.
mental health, like what would you say?
I think going back to what I said, like just standing in whatever it is you're saying and not backing down. Like it's that fear of the retribution and people calling you out or people in your comments section or a bad media piece. Like we say it all the time, like any media is good media, any attention is good attention, whether it's bad or not, because you're getting that traction. But even if in your eyes it is a bad media piece, people are still hearing your message. People are still seeing what you have to say and what you're standing up for, whether they agree with it or not. And you're going to attract more people who think like you and believe like you, and they're going to give you their money over Target or another, small business that has opposing views but does the same thing as you. Because I personally, I try to spend my money at places where they support the LGBT community, and it's not just this rainbow washing every June for Pride Month, and then July 1st comes around and it's like, oh, back to the regular branding. Who are gay people? Like, what is that? It's disheartening. It makes me not trust brands when they do all of that. And I think a lot of people are starting to pay attention to it as well. And that trust that these brands took, however many years you've been around to build, you can put out one statement, that trust is gone, and there's nothing you can do to come back from it, even if you backtrack. That's what I would say as far as like
I love that these brands are messing up because the way the economy is right now, you know what I'm saying? I need to keep my money in my pocket anyway. So y'all go ahead.
I second that.
Show me who you are.
Yes.
All my money in my pocket. I am not playing with y'all at all, not even a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, like I think you mentioned to me yesterday, Tony, like the overspending piece. Of course, it feels like this is like a reset on that for sure. But also to David's point, which thank you, David, for sharing that, is it's really about standing in what you do. What's interesting, you made this like point that just like stuck with me, which is when you say what you stand for, you attract people who are, yes, we say in corporate world, aligned. And I wonder, and I think I've seen that. Like, so I don't remember who said it. It might have been a show I was watching because I just get my news from YouTube or Blue Sky at this point. But someone said like the thing they said like cancel culture didn't actually exist. It actually is more like attracting culture because a lot of people who've been canceled just got better and closer fans. Really.
Yeah.
Like you said it just now, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because to your point, even like when you think about like take social media algorithms, right? You like things and then you're siloed into this world that they think you want to be in, and they keep out stuff you're not going to like. And I feel like the internet as a whole, not just on social media now, has become that. Like Google knows what we're looking for before we even type it in. And it's going to tell us, oh, this is based on your recent history and what you look at, this is what we think you're looking for. So it's just going to corroborate what you already believe. It's already going to, just reinforce that narrative through, I don't know what to call it, but whether it's social control or whatever, but um,
Yeah.
it's concerning.
Yeah. I'm wondering, like, speaking of the brands who are like, you know, they're scared, which again, we've acknowledged is understandable, right? Um, I'm wondering if they think they're in a new era of cancel culture.
Hmm.
Any thoughts on that? Because remember, cancel culture in like 2020 was the complete opposite of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, it is. It very
Okay.
much is.
I'm curious, like your thoughts. Like, are they having this fear because they're looking at, well, they canceled people last time, and now with the shoes on the other foot, and I don't want to be canceled regardless of what that looks like. Like,
Mhm.
is that what it is? I'm curious what, or Tanya, you feel like, what do
Probably.
you think?
That makes sense to me.
You know what I think? I think they're I think brands are afraid of attracting attention to their real intentions. And what
Mm,
I mean by that is they might feel a certain way. Brand owners, business owners might feel a certain way, but they continue to be silent or stifle their true mission statement and their true values because the majority of the people feel a certain other kind of way, or they
Mm,
know a portion of their current customers feel a certain type of way. They're really afraid of their true values slipping out because the people that feel like them will rally around them, which then will what? Push another portion of their consumers away. I have
mm,
a, I feel like they're afraid of really attracting the people that are most like them because it brings so
mm,
much attention that they are not ready to deal with.
yeah.
mm,
That is so
Mm,
I'm just going to be really honest and say I don't like Chick-fil-A. Like I don't even like the chicken. But I respect them because they have been very clear about who they are,
yeah.
what they are, and they stand on that.
fair. Which is
True.
what you would tell them
I
to do
don't
as a PR
know
person
what
anyway.
he
Yeah.
says half the time, but he says it, he stands on it.
Yeah.
That's
He
very
ain't
true.
apologizing, nothing. Orange Juice Jones in the White House, same thing. He say it, he stand on it, he turn around in circles, do a couple backflips, but he stands on his BS. That's where people start feeling I respect them. At least they're being honest.
Mhm.
It's the honesty that that brings people and
Yeah. Attract them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
attracts people. That is attractive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The brands that are afraid are the ones that have not been honest yet. If
Yeah.
they are showing fear, it is because they have not been honest yet and they don't know what that's going to look like. Instead
Mhm.
of being more empowered by their truth, they're afraid of what their truth is going to attract.
Ooh,
Mhm.
yeah. And going back to like what you were saying about that movie earlier with your win, like it's that authenticity and that honesty and that truth that people connected with that movie. And it's the same thing with brands. If a brand feels fake or like they change their story or they're, saying one thing over here, doing another, like you said, Orange Julie is out there in the White House, doing, saying this and then doing that, or saying this and then this department's doing that. And people don't trust it. People are scared. They're like, nope, back off. Mm-mm. Let's wait to see what happens.
And for a moment of clarity, I call him Orange Juice Jones because there's a song, and I want you to look this up. It's called I Saw You Walking in the Rain. And it's about a man who sat and watched his woman walk, have this like love scene with her lover out in the rain. And it was just like amazing. And he was so mad. He's like, I'm going to take all her stuff and I'm going to leave. But you got to listen to the song. It's an R&B song. And anybody that hears this that knows it's just look up Orange Juice Jones Walking in the Rain. Okay.
Mm.
He
Okay.
reminds me of that on top of
Mm.
the orange part. But he reminds me of that because it feels like he's always jealous of someone else. Like he watches other people have moments that he wants to have. Like he watches Obama have moments with his wife, and in his mind, he's having that with Melania, but it never turns out like that. He's
Mm.
watching Asian countries have military parades, and he wants that. Like he sees it and
Mm.
he's really jealous about it. So he wants that. He wants
Mhm.
everything that everyone else has and will never have it. He's a watcher and a wanter. He always watches, he always wants what someone else has and tries to create it. It's never going to happen.
Mhm.
So he's my Orange Juice Jones. So I don't,
All
Gotcha.
right.
I
I'm
won't get
moving on.
blocked. Orange Juice Jones. I want you to look up that song.
We'll have to look it up.
It's a cult favorite, Tam.
Okay, so
Add it to the list,
add
girl.
it to the list. I know.
I saw you and him walking in the rain.
Oh, okay. We get
A free performance. Let's
Yes, I was
go.
It's not
No, I am not going to Hollywood with
Hey, well, that's true.
Underwood.
But that makes a lot of sense. And like really tapping on an authenticity point, I think that's really what we're like, and y'all both said it so beautifully. It's like just you can be afraid of your own authenticity. That's okay. And you can also just keep trying to do it, like people pleasing. I mean, what we're really referring to is people pleasing on a brand level, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to support a cause, LGBTQ plus. DEI is so holistic; it covers so many things. But if you want to do that, you, as you said, David, just have to stand on it. And again, I'm a proponent. I do content day in and day out. Like we know this. Like timing is everything. So yes, timing it to Pride Month is not an issue. Just calling this out.
Yeah.
But you can't just only do it then. You got to like keep it consistent through like everything you do.
Right. Yeah. Because those genuine, consistent, whether you want to call them allies or members, whatever, you know, it resonates more than that performative gestures of the rainbow and whatever, you know, pick your group.
I'd rather I never see a rainbow in anything you do and know that you treat people well rather than see a rainbow.
Right.
Yeah. You're being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like we've talked about this as multiple, not just brands. I think celebrities are having the same dilemma right now too.
Absolutely.
To be honest.
They don't know who they are half the time.
Yeah, like you stand for this, but like, is it truly? Was it? I know Lizzo is, you know, kind of like beaten or not beaten, but like
we beat that dead horse.
That's a choice word for
Lizzo. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a word here, but like meaning like she like that. You know how like the cycle, like that cycle's kind of gone back under, like it's gone, you know, the turn,
full circle. Yeah,
the tide has changed. That whatever. Again, my words today, but that was one of those things we talked about a lot with her as an example of like how it was just so contradictory to what her like
brand was. Yeah,
brand was, and the lawsuit, what it was alleging, was just like so contradictory.
Very.
And I just feel like we're just seeing it again, but again, to our point, it's not. It's just you attract what you stand on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even going back to what you were saying about all the performances at Coachella, like Megan and Lady Gaga, they were not like, ooh, let me pull this back because somebody might get offended. Like I did see pieces where people were calling Lady Gaga Satan, and she's out here conjuring the devil in the middle of the desert with all these little Zoomers, and I'm like, one, we are so back. Two, what? That's what you got from that? Like that was, personally, I found it to be a beautiful piece of art. She told stories, she gave us looks, she gave us all. As a little monster, she fed me. I was very much fed.
But I mean, Lady Gaga always does. Like she didn't change who she was, is what you're saying. Like that's, I mean, those comments has always what she's got. That she's gotten. Like that's not new.
And when she wins awards, she calls out the trans community. When she is on a interview, she makes sure to say something about the LGBT community. She's been one of the longest running allies that I've seen in my lifetime. And that's one of the reasons why I stand by her, other than the fact that I love her music.
Yeah. Hey, David, before we lose track of time, because do this again, I think
we will sit here and talk all the time.
You have an event coming up.
Yes. At the end of this month, my colleague Cameron Stefanski and I are putting on an event. This is our second year doing it. It's called Marketing for Pride 365 Live. What we're doing is we're bringing together a panel of LGBT allies and business owners to talk about communicating to the LGBT community 365 days a year, not just during Pride Month, not just using rainbows, not being stereotypical. Actual, real, authentic, consistent connection with the LGBT community year round. People think it's harder than it actually is and get caught up in it, when the subtlety of communicating to minority groups, whether it is LGBT or whatever umbrella under the umbrella of DEI you want to pick is. It's just about being consistent and authentic, and that's what we're going to talk about at the end of the month, April 30th. It's at 12 o'clock. It'll be for 90 minutes. You can check out my social media or marketingforpride365.com. It's where you can find and register for the event. Even if you can't make it, we'll send you a replay. That's our little resource for everybody, so they can have it year round and refer back to it and check out what everybody had to say. I'd love to see everybody there.
Thank you. We
Thank you.
absolutely appreciate you being here. We appreciate you sharing all of your good stuff, all of your pettiness, all of your thoughts with us.
Yes, thank you for having me. I will be back.
Also, like, don't be playing with me because I'll come find you. Okay?
I will. You want me on here once a month? Let's go.
Oh,
I ain't got nothing going on.
Actually, you do.
I do.
And you're gainfully employed by you. So, yeah.
I mean, yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you got to do all those things. But I want to thank you. Tam, what do you have coming up before we get out of here?
Honestly, ask me next time.
She got track and field.
Yeah. I have a hair appointment. That is where I'm at. But yeah, just saying. You just some micro joys, okay? Shout out to Cindy Stevens. But, no, I mean, I have things that I'm working on. Like, once I am ready to like share it in a way that I feel is best, I will share it. But for the most part, again, like, I'm doing a newsletter just specifically helping Black and Brown women like build their personal brands, because I, again, think it's super important to have that. So at any point, just join my newsletter. It's in my LinkedIn bio, and you'll always find out what I'm doing from there.
Yes,
I love it. Same. All my stuff is in LinkedIn bio.
My stuff's there too, I think.
Yeah. David, make sure you give us the information about the event. We'll put it in the captions, right? And make sure that everybody has access to that. Again, we want to thank you, and we will see y'all back here at our next PR Lunch Hour.
Awesome. Take care, buddy.
Bye.